Hi, I'm Brent Stafford, and this is RegWatch by RegulatorWatch.com. As the Trudeau-led federal Liberal government marches inexorably towards a ban on flavors in nicotine vaping products, pushback is growing. While trade associations are making inroads through government outreach, an effort on behalf of consumers, led by the activist group Rights for Vapers, is picking up steam. Joining us today from the nation's capital for a quick update on the fight to save flavors in Canada is consumer vaping advocate Maria Papaioannoy-Duic, founder of Rights for Vapers. Maria, great to see you again.
Hi, Brent. How are you?
How's Ottawa treating you?
Oh my God, beautiful day. I hung out outside of the CBC. I found it really interesting. They have these 3 black doors right there on Spark Street. And so many people smoke at the CBC. And imagine if the CBC allowed their staff to look at all the facts and shared some truthful information. Perhaps some of those people who were smoking could be vaping. We did come across a couple of people who vape at the CBC and shared the information with them and gave them some cards. So maybe we can make a difference. It's just very disappointing.
Maria, the last time we had you on the show, it was just following Health Canada's impromptu webinar where you presented consumer views on the potential flavor ban. Now, that was on March 15th. Just 5 days later, the Minister of Health, Mark Holland, held a press conference where he was pretty crystal clear that a flavor ban is coming. Has anything changed in the government's push to ban flavors since?
So Mark Holland, he chose to speak out of context, out of line. I'm not sure who gave him his speaking notes. It was obviously not Health Canada, because everything he said has been debunked by Health Canada. There have been no deaths. There have been no illnesses as he speaks. I mean, it's just a lot of sloganeering and posturing for a man who, owes so much to the heart and stroke. I mean, his lines, his talking notes were very heart and stroke. So I just want to ask who Mark Holland is working for, the people of Canada or the Heart and Stroke Foundation. If you didn't finish your job before you got elected back into office, it is not your job to do it now as a representative of all the people in this country, not just your friends at Heart and Stroke. And I'm just so done. 1 minute he's acting like he's all it and I'm the one in charge. And then when we ask for meetings, he pushes them to Minister Sachs. So this man is not only full of himself, he also forgets, and he feels so confident that he can say what he wants when he wants because no one's going to hold him accountable. And it's obvious that people who vape have zero value in this man's mind. But I'm here to tell him that we are humans, that we are smart, we are intelligent, and we have the ability to organize ourselves. You know what, bud? Just look at it. Don't mess with us.
Maria, I've got a short cut down of some of Minister Holland's comments for those who haven't yet heard them. So let's have a listen.
I was with Heart and Stroke when we dealt with the issue of vaping. And there were many voices at that time when information was uncertain who said, let this exist as a cessation tool. Don't take action. The result of that, unfortunately, was that the tobacco industry was able to addict a whole new cohort of young people who had no exposure to nicotine to something that's absolutely deadly for their health. It has had very injurious outcomes for our health system. We cannot allow that to happen again. I would say to the tobacco companies that continued to look for ways to use loopholes to addict people to their products, get away. Stay the hell away from our kids. I'm seeking authority to restrict products so that they are solely for the purposes of cessation. We shouldn't be seeing flavors that are targeting kids. Flavors like, winter berry splash or whatever, tropical fruit, whatever that they're putting out there. I'm seeking these authorities immediately in the conversations I'm having with provinces and territories for all cessation products, that the only flavors that should exist should be for the purposes of promoting cessation. These are kids who have no exposure to tobacco or nicotine before. That's entirely unacceptable. Hopefully you can hear in my voice and my intention. I don't ever want to go through this again. What we saw happening in vaping, all the illness, the death, the sickness.
The illness, the death, and the sickness. He's the Minister of Health. Does he have any examples of that?
Bravo. If we don't know this, the Minister of Health also took up acting in his little bleep of not being reelected back in 2011. So Minister of Health has been taking his speaking notes directly from Heart and Stroke and the Classic Five. These people have him in the palm of his hands. They are manipulating him. He may not want to admit that he's being manipulated, but anyone who takes a role in this country needs to think about the people, not his previous job, not his previous employers or his peers. His peers are the Canadian people.
It just
seems a different Maria, just so you guys know.
Well, you're the same firebrand I've always known you as, Maria. And I think that's a good thing. The industry certainly needs it right now when you have a health minister that's spewing misinformation. That's some of the worst misinformation about vaping that could possibly get pushed out there.
Absolutely. I mean, I actually emailed Health Canada and I asked who gave him his speaking notes. I'm like, I don't understand how the Minister of Health can speak this way on a subject that he doesn't understand. I mean, he thinks he understands it, but guess what? You can't take the information you learned as a talking head. That's all you were. You were a talking head for Heart and Stroke, who had to rebrand recently as well. Let's not talk about that. But you were a talking head, and now you are the head. You are not a talking head. You can't talk off the cuff. You can't throw in emotion, because we will match you with just as much emotion. We will call you out on your lies. And then you don't want to talk to us? Guess what? You have no choice. We will continue to talk to you. You don't need to talk to us. We'll talk to you.
Maria, tell us about the Hands Off Our Flavours campaign. What is it? Who have you been reaching?
Hands Off Our Flavours is exactly what it says. It's hands off our flavors. Those are flavors that were created by people who smoke, for people who smoke. These are the flavors that were created by people who were at the bottom, at the grassroots, at the birth of vaping as a product to help people quit smoking. Talk to us. Let us know who our flavors are, and keep your hands off them if you're not going to talk to us. And so we have a letter writing campaign, which right now we are at almost 30,000. Probably when this airs, we'll be over 30,000. I have mailed, if you go on our Twitter feed, you will see me at the Cobourg Canada Post popping in every single letter to be mailed. A copy goes to Minister Sachs, who is currently the Minister of Addictions and Mental Health. A copy goes to Minister Holland, and a copy goes to your MP. I am making sure that every single one is being emailed. I have a list of how many. We are collecting data, but not on people. We want to know how many letters get to each postal code, which is each riding. And right now, Seamus O'Regan, who also happens to be a good friend of Minister Holland, has received the most letters at over 700. So he's a good friend.
What is it exactly that makes these letters going into government different or more likely to be accepted or read by government? I know that there's some issues that have happened in the past with that. Nothing guarantees us anything in this world. Nothing guarantees us anything with a government that has a mission. What we have done is that every single letter that was sent, there was a fourth copy made. We are counting them. We are delivering them by hand, every single letter. And I don't care if it takes 50 banker boxes or 100 banker boxes. We are holding them accountable. Just so everybody knows, back in 2021, after those 20,000 letters were sent, we sent an individual copy to Health Canada, to the recently retired Denis Schwanner, and said, we counted, don't tell us we're equal to one. And you know what happened after that? Health Canada, they came out and had a webinar for the first time ever with consumers. Over 300 people showed up. Then Health Canada reached out to consumers and started a consumer advisory committee. Then Health Canada started changing their website and putting in facts. That's what happened after the 20,000.
Then Minister Holland somehow shows up into the game, because I have no idea how he even got this file. Just because you worked at Heart and Stroke and you owe them your life does not make you a qualified Minister of Health. You don't even know how to listen. And you're choosing not to. You're using your mouth, which you only have one of, more than your ears, which you have two of.
So besides Maria, the issue that seems generated a little bit, but I'm not carrying Imperial Canada, water here. I mean, the nicotine pouches that were out there, they were marketed in a bit of a lifestyle way. But either way, is that the only issue that triggered this whole thing with Mark Holland, or is the real issue is that Mark Holland was made the health minister?
I think the issue that triggered Mark Holland was his friends at Tobacco Control. Let's even go back to 3 years ago. Look at all the hoopla because a tobacco company was part of a vaccine that was effective and non-mRNA. It was a natural vaccine from a tobacco plant. Look at everybody up in arms. And the same people that were pushing vaccinations were the same people demanding that this vaccine be removed from the market. Let's go to Mark Holland. You know what? I believe that they lobbied to have him there. And he gets the pressure. At the end of the day, this is a man who got a job back in 2011 in the lowest part of his life. These people gave him purpose, gave him a sense of purpose. I don't care who you are. You will remember the people who believed in you in the time of your life when no one believed in you ever. And he needs to acknowledge that and own it. And when he does, he'll realize that he is making a mistake. Vaping, nicotine pouches, there are no loopholes. We've gone through the proper marketing when it comes to vaping. If this man cared and walked his talk, he would be saying, okay, these products works. I don't see any of those flavors not available in nicotine gum. Those are the same flavors available in nicotine gum. They went through the same process. Like, you know what? Don't lump us in together. Don't lump us in together. Like, I'm done.
So nonprofit public health groups, I mean, they lobby government. They aren't government. They lobby government. Now, the particular issues that they fight for might be seen to be benevolent, but the fact is they are third-party entities to government and they lobby government. So how somebody could then become a minister and there not be a conflict of interest, regardless of whether or not it's actually benevolent or not, the fact of the matter is that there is a conflict here.
I do believe they're noticing this conflict because his talking points are now going back to Sachs. So anytime you email him, they tell you have to meet with Sachs because this is in his file. So he seems to, rewrite history? You can't rewrite history to your benefit. Own it. I made a mistake. I talked out of line. I'm a grown-up. You know what? I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. Dude, you know what? You're playing with people's lives. And if this isn't enough, if 30,000 plus Canadians, I'm like shaking my table, if over 30,000 Canadians don't want a flavor ban, the people that are being affected by it, the people that you're refusing to meet with, yet you are manipulating it in the background, like, you know what? What goes around comes around, Minister Holland.
So what about Minister Sachs then? Is she meeting with anybody?
No, she gives her, we have to meet with her people. We don't get to meet with her. I requested a meeting with Minister Sachs. I was given her people. And I responded back and I said, in all due respect, I want to meet with Minister Sachs because she needs to meet with me. I have met with you guys so many times. Like, I know this sounds ridiculous, but we need to hold their feet to the fire. These are elected public servants. They're not elected public gods. They are not elected public martyrs. They are servants to the elected officials. And when you take on a ministry role, you take on every single Canadian. So we've actually reached out to the HESA committee. We've reached out to the finance committee. HESA is the health committee, finance committee. We've reached out to the Treasury Board of Canada because unlike what it sounds like, the Treasury Board of Canada is not necessarily responsible for just money. They're responsible for process. And this regulation needs if it goes to round 2, they need to decide if it's okay or not, and if any processes were broken.
Maria, let me ask you, now I know that the trade associations, Canadian Vaping Association and VITA and so forth, are out there, doing their thing. What kind of rumors have you heard about any success? Is there any breakthroughs? Is there any reason to be hopeful?
There's always reason to be hopeful. I think what that means, though, is don't be hopeful and stop doing. I want to share this message and say that we are making progress. People are listening. Like, we're getting regrets. People are on our end. And I know that the other organizations are getting meetings and stuff like that, but that does not mean to stop. That means is that the door is creaking open. We need to open that door even further. We need to bang down that door. We need to knock it down. And that's why it's important that everybody that can shows up on May 13th. In Ajax to 100 Old Kingston Road. Ajax Police, Durham Regional Police are working with us. We're having that area closed down. Don't make me look like a loser and not have that many people show up. I want to impress the police department so they can hire me as their professional protest planner.
So you're having a rally?
Yes, we're having a rally. We have popcorn. Because you know what would a vape rally be without a popcorn machine? We're just done. This is like new and improved. We're doing it all. You want to say we have popcorn lung? Well, we're going to eat some popcorn because that's the only way. If we choke on the popcorn's getting in our lungs. No other way, not through vaping.
So repeat that again. What day, what time, and where?
Monday, May 13th. We're asking people to start showing up at 11 a.m. We're going to be there till about 1:30, 1:45. And we're just going to have some signs. Bring your sign. Bring a sign. Make a sign. This is not about being neat and nice and whatever. Make your sign. Share your message. To those of you that can't come, what I highly recommend is send a fruit basket, send a candy basket, send any kind of sweet treat to Minister Holland's office. That's 100 Kingston Road, Ajax, Ontario. Send them a sweet treat. Tell them how important flavors are, and they can enjoy the fruit since he wants to take it away from us.
And lastly, you're just rounding 30,000. Hopefully by the time this airs sometime this week, you'll be over that 30,000. If you haven't yet made the submission, what do you need to do?
If you haven't yet sent a letter, all you need to do is go to rightsforvapers.com and follow the prompts. Super easy. What's going to happen is you put in your information, your email address. You cannot send a letter twice. It's one letter per person. And then you put in your postal code. It will pull up, and then you decide who you are. Are you someone who vapes? You quit smoking through vaping? Are you someone who just only vaped? Or do you work at a vape shop? Are you a supporter of tobacco harm reduction? Do you own a vape shop? We've thought about it all. So we make sure that everybody's there. And then you make that choice, you hit next, and then you'll have a bunch of prompts, statements that you agree with. Pick 3 to 5 that you agree with, hit next. It will generate a letter based on the statements, and you can read it all right at the bottom. It will be there will be a carbon copy sent out to the Minister of Health and the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions. And that's it. We're mailing them all out. So far to date, we've mailed out 25,000 people's letters, and all of them have pretty much, and I want to say thank you to some of the shops outside of Ontario that have picked up some of the things. We've sent boxes to be mailed out from across Ontario. I have probably, mailed quite a bit. If you go on our Twitter feed for Rights for Vapers, you can see stacks and stacks and stacks, but my dining room is empty right now, so I want more letters to mail out. I don't mind. I like the people at the post office.
So last question, quickly wrap up for us. You've got what your heart says and then what your gut says. What are your body parts telling you about in terms of whether or not flavors will get saved?
My body parts are saying is that if we slow down now, we're screwed. My heart and my other gut says that if we keep it up and we ramp it up, we're going to be in a position to have proper regulations when it comes to flavors and never be in this position again. We need to be part of that conversation. And the louder we are, the more opportunity to be part of it. We always talk about sitting at a table, and I've said this so many times. The tobacco control table was based on fear, misinformation, and it was built back in the 1980s. The guy who built the table and brought everyone around is no longer with Health Canada anymore. So let's come together and build a proper table from a nice solid oak and create it and have all of us there. Not me, not CVA. I want Marion Burt. I want Dave Ball. I want Janine Timmons. I want the people who use this product to be there. I want people who create this product to be there. I think we need to throw it all out, what we believe or what we think, and take it out, because if we create a proper framework for vaping, we can expand so we can stop the marginalization of anyone who has smoked ever in their life, and we can have better care for everybody.